Testing. All right. You can cut out that other.
Hey, yo, hey. Yeah. Run it up, Blondo.
Hey, see y'all from Texas, where we should ride in swangers and put diamonds in our neck.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? It's your boy, Doc Holiday. We are back with another HBCU tonight. You always know it's powered by HBCU Overdrive. Make sure that you like this stream, comment, share. Most of all, subscribe to the channel. For all my people that are new, hit that notification button. Also, when you hit that subscribe button to get everything HBCU Overdrive. Of course, y'all already know we do simulcast between YouTube and Twitter. So all my folks that's on Twitter, hit that follow button. And then, of course, proceed on over to the YouTube channel. So I've had a pretty much decent day today on Sunday. Of course, watched some NFL. Took me a nap. See what else? What else did I do? It's good. Got some Jamaican food. Had that DoorDash to me. But other than that, it's been a cool Sunday. Until my Cowboys played, and then of course, like I said, I don't crash out. I don't crash out by my Cowboys. It is what it is. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know either A they're gonna be fucking great, or B, I'll be like, these niggas suck. And I am on the latter. B, these niggas suck. And not offensively, but defensively. Defensive wise, oh my God, we are booty juice. Whatever you want to call it. Trash can. 44-24 to the Broncos. Terrible. Terrible. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't really put it into perspective. I told you, I'm a Cowboys fan. And as always, my good buddy, Mr. Tasha, is gonna put it in the chat. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and donate. Bro, Jordan, man, look, I've come to accept the fact that Jerry Jones, as long as he's still living on this planet, that there's nothing that we can do about it. Mm-hmm. yeah. But yeah, hey man, look, I cannot say anything bad about my Cowboys. The defense played like I wouldn't say the defense played like hogwash because, like I said, the defense was depleted in the game.
Tomorrow in Irving, you'll see intermittent clouds and can expect a high of 79 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 65 degrees.
You want to interrupt me in my little opening statements and stuff right here? What's going on? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Anyway, just it's. I mean, but I can't really do too much of anything. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I don't really crash out like that, unless it's against the Eagles or anybody in the NFC East. Put it just like that. So, so I would say this. But yeah, man, it was one of them. You a Colts fan? Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Colts is surprising me. Hey, Danny, look, y'all done resurrected Danny Dimes. Y'all done resurrected Danny Dimes. I mean, you got one of the best running backs in the league in Jonathan Taylor. You got a good offense. You got a pretty decent defense. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, man, I can't really tell you what's like everything that's going on. But the Saints brought that on to themselves, bro. The Saints brought that to themselves. That like they knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing when they should have just went and drafted Shador. They should have went and drafted Shador like they were supposed to. But yeah, man, it was a pretty decent Sunday, so I'm not gonna complain or anything like that. I got my much needed rest because y'all gotta understand I streamed for almost 10 hours yesterday. And shout out to everybody who actually stuck around the whole time. Who stuck around the whole time to watch all the games that I showed on the channel, and who also pretty much donated for everything to come on. Like, man, look, I appreciate everybody that does that. Y'all just don't know, man. This it does help out when it comes to doing, getting the channel and stuff like that. But yeah, but we'll get into all the games. I'm trying to get some last second screenshots. But yeah, man, look, it's this weekend don't owe me anything. This weekend was a fun weekend. But yeah, other than that, man, tell me how your Sunday was. Tell me how your Sunday was. You got 27 in that's watching right now. Tell me how your Sunday was. Hey, that you know what? It'll probably be the Alcorn game. It'll probably be the Alcorn game. So I tell my mom, hey, I tell my mom that you ask when she coming back. Hey, my mama, I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. My mama is a football fan. I told y'all my family is a football family. I was like, you went to walk-ons. I have not been to walk-ons yet. That's crazy. And there's plenty of them here in Dallas. So yeah, man, mama was on the stream last night, and she she watched the whole game with me, and she was like, she actually loved the game yesterday, even though we didn't win. We had a chance to get it done last night. Yeah, it's a must win. You gotta win it. It's a must win. We're gonna talk about all that. So yeah, Alcorn's a must win. Man, my mama be trying to. Oh, excuse me, y'all. My mama be trying to find something to do on the weekend because my mama don't work on weekends. My mama do not work on weekends, and she be trying to find stuff on the weekends to do. So y'all gotta realize, y'all understand. My mama's 63 years old. Mm-hmm. My mama is 63 years old. Shoot, she be like, she ain't got time for all that foolishness, that nonsense. Man, but let me give a shout out to my man, Wild Wayne Cartwright, man. I got him in my ear right now, so he's on there with what's the dude's name? Stan Beckton. He's on there with him right now. So shout out to Wild Wayne Cartwright. I know people are listening to him, trying to figure out what's going on. And he has real cool. He has a real cool perspective on the game, on the game of football. So, and man, he be on it when it comes to asking questions on the coach's call, because sometimes we don't, you don't want to ask a coach. Sometimes you don't want to ask coach after a tough loss, if what about what happened and stuff like that, because coaches try to compartmentalize that and basically just get it out their mind, get it out get it out their system, and just move on to the next week. But I commend them for asking those questions, those tough questions that some people just don't think about it. They don't want to understand. Like they don't want to. But yeah, other than that, man, and he does have great, what I'm saying. Wade does have great commentary because he's not biased, not even to his own, to his own institution. And I think that's something that we all need as when you in this space, in this game, as far as journalism, that you know what I'm saying, we can't have our own, bias towards everybody else and be, and not say anything bad about our own institutions, our own teams and stuff like that. That's why that's why last night everybody was crashing out. Everybody crashing out. It's like true, we do. But everybody was crashing out last night, and they're like, man, I'm mad and stuff like that. I mean, but we'll talk about that in a minute too, because like I said, I'm the type of person that when it comes down to it, I'm just to the point where I feel good about myself. I feel good for the things that I do. So yeah, I'm listening to him. I listened to him talk about the game from last night. So yeah, I'm kind of listening to him. I'm trying to do some other things too. I'm always what's the word I'm looking for? Multitasking. I'm always multitasking when it comes down to it. So all right, I'm done. Somebody just sent me my man Dwayne Sweet from FAMU asked me if I'm coming to the game on Saturday. You invite me to his tailgate, man, and that's a good thing. I like from other folks too, man. It's um, it's the other game I'm looking for. I figure out who did Benedict play last night, yesterday? Benedict played. Oh, Benedict played Open State. So yeah, let me get that squared. And then my last one, I'm almost done, y'all. So we get ready to talk about all this stuff, and I'm gonna have it good to go. All right, so we should be good now. I had to get some last minute stuff, so y'all have to excuse me. But anyway, man, anyway, I just like to say, first and foremost, getting good news for today. Good news for today that ZT set was in moving around and he was alert and responsive, and it's good to hear about that because I as not just, when you think about it, not just a parent, but just as a human being, I was more worried about him. I was more worried about him, because when I seen it, as far as that young man, like he was not moving, that scared, like literally that scared me. That scared me. It just, we, parents, as a parent, you know what I'm saying? Even if I had a son, I'm, if I have girls, so even with my, my girls, like my youngest baby is a cheerleader, so she does stunts now, and something happened to her, I'm first and foremost, I'm a freak out. So, and I'm gonna want to know what's up and see what's up with her. But it's good that he was responsive. First and foremost, shout out to Mama T Set, because she got in that ambulance and let everybody know in the building that her son was gonna be fine. She let folks know her son was gonna be fine. So, and everybody on Twitter and Facebook and Blue Sky, wherever you was at on social media, giving out prayers and thoughts and, making sure that young man was going to be straight. Same thing with Jacoby and Morgan. It's hard, like I said, it's hard to see kids play at a high level and something like that happen to them. And, and both of them were playing good football last night. Both players were playing good football last night. But yeah, man, I just want to say give them thoughts and prayers to them. But yeah, we gonna go ahead and get this thing going. Let me share this. I gotta share this. All right, man, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, trying to figure something out. All right, so let's get to it, y'all. All right, man. Let's get to it. Appreciate everybody for joining tonight. So the first we're gonna start off in the CIAA. Let's get to it, y'all. Go ahead and get that good music going on right there. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Starting off in the CIAA. Great games over there yesterday. Let's get to it. All right. Let's start off in Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, where they hosted Elizabeth City State, the Vikings. The Vikings come away with a big win last night, 62-14 over the Lincoln Lions, Pennsylvania. Then we head on over to Durham, and it's the double whammy in Durham. Fayetteville State came in as a guest to Shaw University, and basically Fayetteville State came away with the victory last night, 31-13. Then we travel over to Richmond, Virginia, where Bowie State, I apologize. Bowie State took on Virginia Union, and final score in this game: Virginia Union 24, Bowie State 7. Then we make our way over to we take a little strip on down to Petersburg, Virginia, where Virginia State hosted Bluefield State, and in grand old fashion, Virginia State come away. It was almost came out to be a shootout, 51-34 over Bluefield State. Livingstone hosted Virginia Lynchburg, and I think this was Livingstone's homecoming over in Salisbury, North Carolina, on the light blue field, where they handed Lynchburg another loss, 44-22, and their game of the week in the CIAA. Winston-Salem State traveled to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on Johnson C. Smith. You really think about this game? Game was out of hand in the first half, and in the second half, Johnson C. Smith never looked away, and at the end of the day, Johnson C. Smith defeats Winston-Salem 52-27. Going into this game, man, it was pretty good game. It was sunny outside. Winston-Salem was coming off of I think they're coming off of their homecoming victory. But you look at it, if you look at it like this, Kevin Durham passed 351 yards. Bobby Smith ran for 100, 102, and DeAndre Proctor with 135 yards receiving. So you had a 300-yard passer, a 100-yard rusher, and a 100-yard receiver in this game. I'm looking at it, Durham with 2 touchdown runs, also won. Two touchdown runs, 2 touchdown passes. Can't get any better than that. Kevin Durham leads the way for Johnson C. Smith in a big win over Winston-Salem. What's going on, Miss Mary? How you doing? And yes, Johnson C. Smith is playing competitive football right now. But let's get into it. go back and see what is the schedule for next week. Is this so? Elizabeth City State is going to be on the road again, taking on Bowie, Maryland. That's a 1 p.m. kickoff, Eastern Standard Time. Johnson C. Smith and Fayetteville State square off in Fayetteville, North Carolina. This game is going to be on HBCU Go, and I think this will be the CIAA game of the week for me. Shaw is on the road to take on Livingstone and Salisbury, North Carolina. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time. Lincoln, PA, and Virginia State is going to be in Petersburg, Virginia, 2 p.m. kickoff. And Virginia Union is on the road to West Virginia to take on Bluefield State, and that is a 6 p.m. kickoff. The game of the week in the CIAA will be Johnson C. Smith versus Fayetteville State. So now let's go ahead and move over to the SIAC. All right. In the SIAC, we had some good football played yesterday. Edward Waters was on the road, took on Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta's homecoming was yesterday on the red carpet, aka the Pyru Field. Edward Waters comes away with a victory over Clark Atlanta, 55-41. Clark Atlanta is on a 4-game losing streak right now, while Edward Waters comes to bounce back from last week's loss to Benedict in Jacksonville. Miles went on the road to Wilberforce, Ohio to take on Central State. So basically, Miles went on the road to Central State, defeats Central State yesterday, 28-24. And this is after Miles started the season only, I think only 6. See, they don't have scores for this one. I'm gonna reload on this page right here. Hopefully, the scores come up. Don't have scores. All right. So, Morehouse was on the road yesterday. Went to Savannah State, took on Savannah State Tigers. Let me get this score right here. And Morehouse loses to Savannah State 24-16 in this contest. All right, let's get back to it. Allen went on the road to Tuskegee, Alabama. Tuskegee's homecoming was yesterday also. Tuskegee's homecoming was yesterday also. Allen came away with the victory, spoiled the homecoming for the Golden Tigers, 28-13. Fort Valley was on the road to Jackson, Tennessee, take on Lane College. Fort Valley comes away with another victory, 23-19 over the Lane Dragons. And my game, excuse me, my side game of the week was Albany State took on Benedict. This was live from Columbia, South Carolina. And in interesting fashion, Albany State comes away with a 31-3 victory over Benedict. And when you think about this, Albany State takes over the first place, takes over the top in the conference for the SIAC. at 6-0 right now. If the season was to end right now, it will be a rematch between Albany State and Benedict in the side championship game. If this game was to end right now, I got 2 games left on the schedule, and everything counts on this one. So coming up next week, Allen the Morehouse Square Off in Atlanta, Georgia. Savannah State goes to South Georgia to take on Albany State. Virginia Lynchburg is on the road to take on Benedict. Central State and Edward Waters Tangle in Jacksonville, Florida. Lane is on the road to Tuskegee next week. Clark Atlanta and Kentucky State square off in Frankfort, Kentucky. And Mounds in Fort Valley getting on in Fort Valley in Peach County, Georgia. 6 p.m. kickoff. So my side game of the week will be I would have Kentucky State and Clark Atlanta as my side game of the week. And let's go ahead and hit that MEAC. Let's hit the MEAC first. First and foremost, man, appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Woo. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but it's about to get real interesting in Baton Rouge. And I ain't talking about over in Scotlandville. All right, week 9 in the MEAC. Let's go ahead. First and foremost, Howard basically secured a hard-fought win over Morgan State, 33-27 in overtime. Let's remember that, overtime. In overtime. So, hey. Trying to figure out what's going on with the thing. Well, yeah, going into overtime, prevailed 33-27. Basically, also, South Carolina State ranking the first homecoming of Michael Vick yesterday in Norfolk, 51-20. And last but not least, the MEAC game of the week was Delaware State versus North Carolina Central. Central's homecoming was also yesterday. But Delaware State came out and hit the first haymaker on the Eagles on Saturday and securing a 35-26 victory over North Carolina Central and during North Carolina. And like I said, it was homecoming. It was homecoming for those Eagles. I had to let you know, you think about it, it was Marquise Gillis. Marquise Gillis had a good game. Caden Bennett had a good game. Defense played pretty much good for Delaware State. North Carolina Central, of course, Walker Harris went out there, first player in Black college football right now to pass for over 2,000 yards. Of course, he has Man, he has everything going for him. Just uh, I'm just hearing that Stan Beckett just released the rankings are out right now, so we got to see where he puts uh, Kansas State at. See where he puts Kansas State at, but yeah, let me go ahead and pause this. Uh, anyway, but yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. All right, trying to get this all squared up. But yeah, yesterday's game was a complete very exciting in this game, y'all. Sorry about the long pause. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that in a minute. But it was good. I watched, of course, if you was here yesterday, I did stream this game yesterday. And everybody was pretty much they was pro they were pro Dale State. I even told Josh from HBCU Nightly that they were going to lose. That they were going to lose in this game. And of course, him being who Josh is, he know what was up. He knew what was up. But this game was pretty much could have been a barn burner, but Dale State just felt, Deshaun Jackson and his team had the will to want to win the game, and it showed yesterday. But going up into the SWAC. SWAC was interesting yesterday. the SWAC was very interesting yesterday. And we're gonna start off. Let's start off, man. Look, start off down in the reservation, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley, the Magnolia Bowl, another rendition down on the reservation. Mississippi Valley, there was nothing. I don't think it was nothing Mississippi Valley could do in this game, but throw in the white flag. Alcorn starts the game off with a safety, 9-0. Whew. And Valley could never recover from that. Final of this game was 32-10. Alcorn. Alcorn gets their first. Actually, Alcorn get their first FCS win yesterday against Valley. Then let's move over to Alta Vista Plantation, aka Prairie View A&M. Prairie View had their homecoming yesterday, hosting Lincoln, California. And basically, this game was pretty much a demolishing from start to finish. You go into this game, got to get the stats for this game right here. I don't know if they do have them. Oh, okay, we got them. The stats in this game, Prairie View holds Lincoln, California to 63 total yards in this game. 4 first downs, and only let them possess the ball 21 of the 60 minutes of the game. 0 for 6 on third down efficiency. But compared to Prairie View have 17 first downs, 423 yards of total offense, 258 of those yards are passing, and then 165 yards rushing against this Oaklander team. Possessed the ball almost 39 minutes of the game. Only takeaway was they had 8 penalties for 80 yards. So that means that shoot. Slap me up. Hey. So basically it wasn't the whole game. They said they only played basically 3 quarters because of the weather. Yes, it did rain yesterday. Y'all gotta remember, I did tell y'all it was severe weather here in Dallas because of the weather. Appreciate y'all for the correction, man. Because I was kind of wondering what was going on down there. Y'all do know I have a niece at Prairie View, so I was wondering what was going on down there. But of course, Prairie View wins again. They overall record 6-2, 4-0 in the West. So they do right now. They lead the conference. They do lead the conference right now. In the conference standings. Look, let's make our way over to Baton Rouge. This time on the Bluff. Southern FAMU, oldest continuous rivalry, played since World War II? Yeah. In a sense, they kind of didn't disappoint. But this is the most offense Southern put up in this whole season. Ashton Strata, 12 of 28, 197 yards, no touchdowns, but of course, no interceptions, no turnovers. Trey Holly, another big game yesterday, 26 carries, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Strata also had 36 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns to help out the team. Darren Morris was the leading receiver for Southern with 82 yards for 4 catches. But on the side of FAMU, R.J. Johnson III still efficient in the game yesterday, 22 of 32, 257, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Jamal Haley had a big game last night. 157 yards rushing on 19 carries, 3 touchdowns. And then Goldie Lawrence with 95 yards on 4 receptions and the long touchdown catch in the game for FAMU. This was a back and forth effort right here, but FAMU pulls away in the final quarter, 43-35. First game in the Big Mac era, even though he is the interim head coach, start off with a loss. Now, this has, again, I'll say this for the game with Southern. For Southern, this game was the most offensive output that they had the whole season. Other than Valley being the worst team in the conference, offensive wise and defensive wise, Southern is right there, down there with them, offensively and defensively. Just couldn't get it done. Southern goes to 1-7. 1-7 also 0 and, if I'm not mistaken, it's 0-4 in the conference. Worst start in decades for this team. FAMU moves to 3-4, 2-1 in the SWAC East. So they still control their own destiny of trying to get into the SWAC championship game. All right. Now, let's go over to Daytona. Let's go over to Daytona, where Bethune-Cookman hosts Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Nasty Boys. That's what I call them. That's what I call them, the Nasty Boys. Bethune. It is also Bethune's homecoming yesterday. And guess what? Bethune comes out with a 31-14 victory over Pine Bluff. Cam Ransom is living up to his second team as being the second team quarterback all SWAC. 13 of 20, 170 yards. Didn't turn the ball over, but did throw in touchdowns. But Kamani Rogers with 62 yards on the ground, a touchdown. Ali Scott Jr., 42 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And Cam Ransom with two touchdowns on the ground also. 2 touchdowns on the ground also. So, look, man. Pretty much had over 400 yards of total offense in this game. Controlled the ball for 33 minutes in the game. So, pretty much Bethune-Cookman is also sitting. Bethune-Cookman with this victory is 4-4 overall, but is 3-1 in the SWAC East. Bethune-Cookman also controls their own destiny to try to get it to the SWAC championship game. This is another loss for Pine Bluff. 2-5 record right now, and they are sitting at 0 and oh my god, is it 0-2, 0-3 in conference play? Got to look at that. I'm gonna look that up right now. Let me look that up. One and 3. They're sitting at 1-3 in conference play. They do have a victory over. Who was that victory over? Oh yeah, they they do have a victory over Alcorn. So they do have a victory over Alcorn. So yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Let's head over to Birmingham. Magic City Classic. Hey, biggest classic in HBCU football right now. Had close to 70,000 in the stands, probably about another 10,000 outside tailgating. But you know, when you over there in the hood, it's not too much that you can do over there on that side of town in Birmingham. But Alabama State and Alabama A&M pretty much started off their festivities on Friday. When First Take was on the road, brought their show on the road. I don't watch the show no more. I don't watch it no more. Stephen A. Smith is. I've already talked about him. I don't want to talk about him. But the biggest news was Cam Newton get ready to bitch slap the Bulldog from A&M. It was pure comedy. That's what it was. Pure comedy. It was euphoria. Euphoria. That's what I saw. And then on Saturday, Alabama State commenced to bitch slap Alabama A&M into a tune of 56-13. Halftime score in this game yesterday was 49-6 at halftime. First and foremost, let's talk about this. Mr. Andrew Body is not overrated anymore. He is showing everybody that he is healthy. His shoulder is healthy. and it is showing on the field. 19 of 24, 304 yards, 5 touchdowns in the air, 0 interceptions. Also added 66 yards on the ground with long touchdown to put him up there. 6 total touchdowns, 370 yards of total offense. And a Kappa shimmy in the end zone to boot. Jabari Kukendall, 101 yards on 7 carries and 1 touchdown. Pretty much this game was pretty much it was an annihilation yesterday. It was an annihilation yesterday. That's how I see it. It was an annihilation. Marcus Harris II scored a touchdown. Carl Lagun, look, hey man, it was total destruction in Legion Field for Alabama State. Jalen Jones with 156 yards receiving and a touchdown, and the Jet with a touchdown, and the fullback Dylan Creech with 2 touchdowns. Second touchdown leaped into the end zone. They went into this game having fun. Thank you, best player in the sweat right now. They went into this game and they were having fun. You got players doing headstands after the headstand celebration after a touchdown. You got Andrew Body in his LB out there shimmying after a touchdown. It was total destruction yesterday. Total destruction. In fact, this is what happened yesterday. The theme of dominance and classics was fulfilled by Alabama State, which orchestrated a brutal 56-13 demolition of rival Alabama A&M in the Magic City Classic. ASU's victory was anchored by an astonishing 616 yards of total offense, registering the highest offensive output of the day across both conferences. That means the SWAC and the MEAC. Oh my God. And guess what? Alabama State sitting second in the SWAC East at 3-1. Of course, they 6-2 overall. 6-2 overall. But the marquee game of the week was basically in Las Vegas. Jackson State University versus Grambling in this game. Basically, here it goes. Game of the week, Grambling State upset of Jackson State 26-24. The inaugural Las Vegas HBCU Classic featured a thrilling contest where Grambling State edged out Jackson State 26-24. JSU initially took control, achieving a 10-0 head start in the first quarter. Where basically Jacoby Morgan came out with the touchdown run, short touchdown run, and then, of course, Donovan Warren kicked the field goal to basically start the game, start the scoring off. Grambling countered late in the second quarter, utilizing a 59-yard run, touchdown strike from Zay T-Set to Kavadas Knighton, which tight end. That big dude was moving his ass off. followed by a 24-yard field goal from Theodore Caballero, cutting the halftime deficit to 10-9. So the 10-9, Jackson State was still in this game. Jackson State was still in this game, but we'll get into it. But Jacobian Morgan comes, he leads early in the game in the first half, comes out in a walking boot. Don't know the prognosis just yet. I would ask Coach TC about his prognosis tomorrow on the coach's call. Grambling extended his momentum after the break, eventually reaching a 23-10 lead in the fourth quarter after a 26-yard touchdown pass to Alex Frazier. Jackson State rallied behind quarterback Jared Lockhart, who first connected on a 62-yard scoring bomb to Nate Rembert and later scored on a 1-yard keeper to give JSU a late 24-23 advantage. However, Grambling mounted their final game-winning drive, culminating in Josh McCormick's decisive 44-yard field goal with 21 seconds remaining, securing the 26-24 upset. Despite Jackson State holding the statistical edge in net rushing yards and the possession time, Grambling State's passing efficiency was instrumental in the victory. Quarterback Zay T. Set was highly effective before leaving the game due to injury, completing 16 of 26 passes for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That's the thing that Coach Joseph always talked about. He does not like his QBs trying to turn the ball over. Grambling's passing game averaged 14 yards per completion, while Jackson State's passing game also relied on explosive plays, in quotations, 19.2 yards per completion. Grambling won despite inferior net rushing yards and only marginal advantages on third down conversions. Grambling was 7 of 13 on third down compared to 8 of 15 for Jackson State. Basically both teams were damn near 53% on converted for third downs. The outcome demonstrates how a highly explosive and efficient passing attack, coupled with perfect execution on critical field goals and fourth downs, can overcome numerical disadvantages in time of possession and run game volume. Jackson State's inability to stop the final Grambling drive, forcing a game-winning kick, proved fatal. The weird thing about this, if you really think about this, I watched the game. I went back on my live early today. I went back on my live early today, and when I went back in there, when I went back to look at it, after Jacobian went out the game with the foot injury, and we brought in Parker Stouffer, the offense was still generating yards. The offense was still moving. The offense was still moving. When Parker came into the game, he was QB2. And let's not put the blame on Parker Stouffer for he did not lose us this game. This game was the Jackson State, the game Jackson State lost yesterday was all around. It was offense, it was defense, it was special teams, and it was coaching. I'm going to be critical about this. Parker Stouffer kept us in the game. what happened on the first touchdown that T set threw to the tight end, if you look at it on the right side, defensive backfield was shaking up. Plus, missed tackles, poor missed tackles, poor angles got Grambling that first touchdown. Second touchdown is like the defense couldn't tackle. They couldn't tackle. Now, we did lose the ball. Travis Terrell he fumbled the ball. Once Parker came into the game, Parker hit, and it's the best thing I like what they did, especially when they brought Stoker into the game, was to test that defensive backfield. We gonna test you because Mr. Stoker has an arm. He has an arm, and what other way to kind of put himself out there is to test the defense. And I feel if he would have, and it's a lot of jitteriness in him. He was a little bit jittery, but you got to kind of calm him down. But testing him, throwing that long ball was to test to see, hey, you can play in this game right here. You can play with the big boys. Because remember, prior to for him coming to the game yesterday, early in the first half, he only thrown 3 passes altogether in his whole college career. Then he still ran the ball. He still ran the ball efficiently. Let's not get it there. He did make the bonehead mistake trying to do the pitch to Travis, which resulted in, I don't know if it resulted in, I think we got the ball back. But as an offensive unit, you got to be able to call out where the blitz is coming from, because you got to look at everything. You look at everything from the perspective. Grambling did a lot of stunts in this game. They did a lot of movement in this game. In fact, Bryce Cage, who is pretty much the all-around defensive player on the team, they moved him from outside, inside. Basically, they wanted to cause havoc and just kind of confuse the offensive line for Jackson State. I might have to stop it right there, because you think about it. I have to kind of nope. So we go back into the game. We go back into the game yesterday. It's pulling up on my phone. I'm sorry. Parker Stover was 7 of 12 for 91 yards. He didn't throw an interception, but he didn't throw a touchdown. He did test him on the touchdown throw a couple of times. Especially he would have hit the fade on the right corner to Shamar Savage. That would have put us up in the game. Red had 15 yards on the ground. Longest run was 20. Okay. Had 5 rushing for 15 yards. I think he played a pretty. I think he played a pretty efficient game, but of course, like I said, he did the Reggie Bush pitch back, which I was like, hey, yo, what's going on? But here's the thing. It's not our decision as fans to say he needs to get into the game. It was the decision of TC. TC said he was the second string quarterback. He is the second string quarterback. He got enough action to go up in there, and he did well. But like I said, this was a collective loss. Defensive wise, was a collective loss. Special teams, let's get this straight. Let's get it cracking on special teams. To have G-Baby to go out there as the punter, and where was the punt protection? Because Grambling should have never came in and blocked that punt. Where was the punt protection? They went all out on that punt, on that punt block. Where was the protection? Second of all, when you kick the ball, why kick it out of bounds in the fourth quarter? When you got up in the game, we were up by 24-23. You kick the ball out of bounds. You move the ball to the 35-yard line. It gives them. It really didn't. It, of course, before T-Set's injury started, they were moving the ball. Second of all, we left too much time on the clock. It was 2 minutes. It was like 2 minutes, something left on the clock. They move the ball. T-Set runs. Bang, bang play. He gets hurt. He's injured. And during that injury, I think they had 1:55 left on the clock. You drive down the field. You get the clock. You get the ball. They get the ball. Kicks a 40-some yard field goal. Why? And then here's the thing about this. As far as the coaching, why call a timeout on the PAT? And it was your last timeout. It's not saying that we couldn't score with Stoker. It's the fact that it was a stopgap. It was a stopgap. You just don't put Lockhart in. If he, like I said, I don't get paid the $100,000, $1 million to put anybody in over anybody. If Parker was QB2, meaning he had a great week of practice, he earned that QB2 spot. Jared Lockhart was the emergency quarterback. Just to say, if Parker went out of the game with an injury, Jared's the emergency quarterback. But the issue is not just with Parker. It was the whole team. So we can't I don't put the blame on the QB. It was a team. This was a team loss. This was a team loss. Like I said, I wasn't going to crash out because it's like, damn that, we see what Jared does. Of course, but you think about it, it was against Tuskegee. He did all that against Tuskegee. You're going up against Grambling. You're going up against Grambling. So we couldn't throw Stoker in the game. Lockhart gave us a chance. How about go back and watch the game, go back and see when Travis Terrell fumbled the ball. When we was moving the ball, down the field. When we move the ball down the field, go back and see that fumble by Travis Terrell. Go back and look at that quarter. Go back and look at that quarter. Go back and look at that quarter. Look at the defense, what Grambling was doing. They knew once Jacoby got out the game, once Jacoby was in the game, he was in the game. He wasn't in the game. They basically switched that defense up. They went to more blitzing with their front seven, and their DBs played fucking man the whole time. Said my only issue with Stoke is that he had not even started a game. At least Jared had started a game, even if it was Tuskegee. And even when Stoker was in against Southern Miss, he threw an interception. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he had a good week, TC already said, just because you QB2 for 1 week doesn't mean that you're going to be QB2 the next week. It's up to TC. So going forward now, I think the way that he played yesterday and tried to engineer a drive where he scored 2 touchdowns on the drive. On 2 drives. That's a no-brainer. He earned the start. But at the same time, like I said, you got to go with what the coach say, the head coach say. The head coach say that Stover is the number 1 starter. He's the starter, and you tailor the offense around him. If Lockhart is the number 1 starter, he's the starter. You tailor the offense around him. Even with Ethan Terrell, he said he's the starter. You tailor the offense around him. You got three freshmen that are backups. 2 of them are red shirts, and 1 is a true freshman. But it's like, let's not take away the fact that he ran 20 yards down the field and got a first down. He threw the ball efficiently. He was 7 of 12. We moved the ball, but guess what? We shot ourselves in the foot. We literally shot ourselves in the foot. The 4th and 9 that Brother George keeps saying, the 4th and 9 was a head scratcher. The Travis Terrell fumble was a head scratcher. We gave, and it's not Parker's fault. We, as a team, we gave Grambling too many opportunities after turnovers, and they capitalized both times after those turnovers. So I cannot say it's Stoker's fault that we lost the game. No, I cannot say that. Stoker was in for 1 quarter. And y'all gotta remember, we 2 weeks ago at homecoming, we were down 31-20 against Alabama State. And we scored 2 touchdowns within, 6 minutes? No, but you got to understand, it's a lot of people saying that it's his fault. I'm saying not you, but I'm saying it's a lot of people that saying that it's his fault. I'm looking at it like he's a freshman. It's not saying that he was the better choice. It's the fact that he's a freshman. You, as a coach, you had to go in there and say, you got to calm down. This is like playing football in the backyard. I'm like, Parker, you from Texas. You from Texas. You from Converse. You can't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Like I'm saying, you from Converse. You went to Judson High School. You went to KB. That must be your stuff because people say they can hear me. Parker Stoker went to Judson High School. Judson is a football powerhouse. Hey man, just like going out there playing football. Like I said, it's going playing football in the backyard. And sometimes you have to treat the game like that. As a quarterback, it's like, man, look, we better go play. We better play. We about to go and just play backyard football. That and you know what? I could respect that. Okay, I can respect that. If he had a whole nother week, remember we was out. I mean, we had a 2-week layoff. We was out. We had a bye week, so he had a whole week. Then yeah. But I don't want to kill it. I don't want to kill just one kid. I don't want to do that. I can't do that. Because when you think about it, like if kids they get on social media and they see if you talk bad about them, that that messes with their head, that messes with their psyche. I don't want to. I do not want to be that person to say, yeah, you cost us this game right here. I don't want to. I don't want to be that person right there, and it's not fair to them. I mean, he's not elusive. Yeah, he's not elusive, but don't get me wrong. He will take that ball and run. That's the thing that I'm saying. Now you understand where I'm coming from, because he's a redshirt freshman. Look, any freshman that plays against a team like Grambling, against a storied school like Grambling, and under the bright light in Vegas, in Vegas, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. And that's the thing right there. We win as a team, you lose as a team. I don't want to be the one to say I'm gonna kill a person on my platform and say, man, he trash, he this and he that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, and then of course the coaches are taking responsibility. Like coaches taking responsibility for the loss. Of course, TC said, well, TC, and I know TC for a long time. And he gonna be like, look, he's gonna take it on him. I should have better prepared my dude just in case something happened to the first guy. I don't know how long Jacoby is gonna be out, but he was in a boot, and it was more likely a foot injury. Don't know how long gonna be out. Won't know until tomorrow when I'm on the call. And yeah, Coach Quinn, he was not happy either. Ethan Terrell is still on the team. I keep saying that, but it just people don't see him, but he's still on the team from what I heard. I mean, so I'm just gonna say, I mean, it was a crazy weekend this week. It was, I mean, when I say crazy weekend, we talking about Delaware State going all the way to Durham to crash homecoming for North Carolina Central. We watched that on this show yesterday. That was the first game I put on. we had Marquise Gibbs, the running back for Delaware State, Marquise Gibbs. We had his people in the chat. Shout out to his mom and his uncle. Had his people in the chat. Ethan Terrell is a redshirt freshman also. So while we're talking about it right now, in the SWAC, if you think, let's say in the SWAC, it is a three-team race in the SWAC East. You have three teams in the SWAC East with 3-1 conference records: Jackson State, Alabama State, and Bethune-Cookman. Then right behind them, you have a team with a 2-1 conference record in FAMU. So if you really think about this game this weekend is very important for both. In fact, for both teams. Why? Because whoever wins this game has one. They are one step closer to either host a SWAC championship game or play in a SWAC championship game. So if you think about it, this is just the East alone. The East, you have Jackson State, Bama State, and Bethune-Cookman with 3-1 records. Bethune-Cookman is on a roll right now. They haven't won the last 3 out of 4 contests. Alabama State is on a roll. They only lost to Jackson State in FCS. They only have one FCS loss. Remember, they got one FBS and one FCS loss. In Jackson State, it's the same thing. One FBS, one FCS loss. You go to the West, Prairie View is sitting high and mighty in the West at 4-0. But guess who? Guess who on their heels? Guess who is on their heels right behind them? It's Texas Southern. Texas Southern is right behind Prairie View, sitting at 3-1. Texas Southern sitting at 3-1. Now, with the win against Jackson State, Grambling sitting at 2-2. And you know what this is? What this makes for? This makes for good football. For the next 4 or 5 weeks, it makes for good football. Alabama State, all they got to do is win out and hope that Jackson State lose. Let's do this. Let's do this. So on the East, I'm gonna go with this. Jackson State this weekend has Florida A&M in Tallahassee. Hard place to play at Bragg Stadium. Okay, that game is a 6 o'clock kickoff, so that's good right there. Second game is against Valley and Edabina. I don't know what to say, but y'all know how it is when we play Valley. Third game, the last 2 games are at home. That's the best thing about this. The last 2 games of the season for Jackson State are at home. Bethune-Cookman comes to Jackson this season. Remember last time they came to Jackson, they gave us a scare in 23. That was the WC Gordon Classic that season. And then we end the season with Alcorn coming into town for the Capital City Classic. So that's the standard. That's the last 4 games for Jackson State. What up, bro? All right. So let's look at Alabama State. Alabama State has a crucial game this weekend down at Prairie View, Texas. They have Prairie View in their sights. Winner of this game, the winner of Prairie View versus Alabama State will show who has control of the divisions. For Prairie View, this is a trap game. For Alabama State, for either team, it's a trap game. Especially for Alabama State because they're coming into this game just on a high from being Alabama A&M. Now, Prairie View has had their number in the last 4 or 5 years. They have had their number. But coming off the game against Lincoln, I don't know. But we shall see. Then Texas Southern comes into Montgomery to play Alabama State. They have Valley on the road. They got Pine Bluff and Tuskegee, final 2 games at home. That Texas also, let's be real, y'all. That Texas Southern game also too is going to show if Bama State is for real or not. Texas Southern is 4-3. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They're 3-1 in conference, in the division, in the West. That Texas Southern game for Alabama State is going to show a lot. First and foremost, it's really going to show a lot because Andrew Valley is going to look at it like, Y'all messed up for letting me go. He gonna look at it as y'all. I'm gonna tell you what, and Drew gonna look at it like y'all fucked up for letting me go. Then Bethune-Cookman. Okay, let's go to Bethune. Let's go to where they got Mississippi Valley at home. They are on the road to take on Grambling. We all know the mystique about Eddie G. Robinson Stadium. Then, of course, they come to Jackson to play Jackson State, and then they have the Florida Classic against FAMU, in which I think they can beat FAMU this year. FAMU is not really too much of a good team to me. And then, if you really think about it, last FAMU, because they 2-1 in the conference. Of course, it's the showdown in Tallahassee. Then they are on the road. That is going to be a long ride. If they're on the bus, I feel sorry for you. Hope you take a plane, fly to Memphis, take the drive to Pine Bluff. But they're on the road to take on Arkansas Pine Bluff. Then they go to Montgomery. They go to Huntsville, take on Alabama A&M. Then they got the Florida Classic. And then also remember, they have an extra game because they gotta play the Valley game at the end of the year. The Saturday of Thanksgiving in Itabena. In Itabena. So just think about that. Just think about that. And so let's go over to Prairie View. Let's go to Prairie View. Prairie View, of course, Alabama State. Alabama State comes into town. They're on the road to Huntsville to take on Alabama A&M. And then they got Pine Bluff coming into Prairie View. And then they end their season with Mississippi Valley at home. Now, I can look at it like, remember last season, Prairie View lost to Pine Bluff. I don't see that happening this year unless Prairie View just decide to wet the bed. Unless Prairie View decide to wet the bed, but I don't see that happening against Pine Bluff. Now that Bama State, okay, again, the Bama State game is crucial. More likely I should be. I don't know if I'll probably go down there. I probably will go down there. I asked my mom, so we can do that. The game starts at 2 o'clock. Yeah, that'd be easy for us. Get down there, go to the game, and come right back in time for the in time for us to listen to the game on the way back for Jackson State and FAMU. We got Texas Southern. Let's go to Texas Southern schedule. Alcorn comes into town, comes into town into Third Ward. And then Texas Southern's on the road to Montgomery. They also have to go to Baton Rouge and play Southern. I think that Southern game is going to be, it could be positioned as a trap game right there. And then the last game of the season is against Alabama A&M. I don't know what is the deal that Texas Southern is playing Alabama A&M at the end of the season for the last 3 years. That's crazy. Texas Southern is in control of their own destiny also. But they also need help from other teams for PV, to see if PV can lose those 2 games. Because they lose 2 games, and let's say Texas Southern wins out. Texas Southern they won't host the championship game, but they will play in the championship game. And they're going to try to go off a point differential. in overall record. And then you got Grambling. Let's talk about it. Grambling sitting at 2-2. Grambling is sitting at 2-2 in the conference. They got Alabama A&M coming into town. Then they got the last two. These two games are going to be at home between A&M and Bethune. They're on the road to Alcorn, and then of course they have the Bayou Classic at the end of the season. Grambling can actually, if the cards are being played right, Grambling can actually make themselves contenders for the title game. And I can't say Grambling is not a good team because, hell, they did beat us. They did beat us. And if you look at Grambling, you look at what Grambling has done, other than, when they played Langston as an NAIA school. They lost to Ohio State. Of course, Ohio State is the number one team in the fucking country. They beat Kentucky State in overtime. It was questionable, but they beat him in overtime. They won by 3 against East Texas A&M. They played in the State Fair Class. I watched that game. It was horrible watching that game. Prairie View played a drop 8, which I'm like, that's crazy. They lost to Texas Southern by 1, and that was their homecoming. They lost to Texas Southern by 1. They defeat Pine Bluff in a rain-delayed game, and then they beat Jackson State. They beat us in a neutral site in Vegas. So if you really think about it, yeah, Grambling's riding on the 2-game winning streak. They made it interesting. You can say they out of it, but shoot, they can make it interesting for a lot of folks. They can make it interesting for a lot of folks. Texas Southern want Prairie View to lose their last 2 or the next 2, so they can position themselves to the number 1 spot. Only 2 losses was to Texas Southern and Prairie View. If they were not lost to Texas Southern, the season would be very interesting for Grambling. But it is interesting for Grambling. But here's the thing. You can have a championship mindset, but you can say they ain't good, and that's what happened to them yesterday. They looked at it, they overlooked it and said, oh, yeah, that's Grambling. They ain't good. And look what happened. We lost. They did the same thing last year and said Grambling wasn't good. We went down to Louisiana and got our head kicked in by 21. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I look at it in a totally different mindset. You can say you ain't good, a team ain't good until you play them and get punched in the mouth. And then you be like, shit, I didn't know they play like that. Fred got the offense moving, but the defense still playing like trash. Defense is still playing like trash. Henry Miller got to go. I'm telling y'all, Fred, I'm going to tell y'all this. At the end of the season, Fred is not getting that Southern job. He's not getting that Southern job. Fred is the remnant of being on Coach Gray's staff. He is not getting that job. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. Remember, I'm not a JSU centric platform. I just cover everybody, but I am a Jackson State alum. Now, I put it just like this. You can look at how everybody played, but at the end of the day, everybody's Super Bowl. It's just not with Jackson State. It's just not Jackson State. But I understand with Jackson State, of course, because we won the championship last year. We won the conference championship, and we won the national championship last season. Yeah, of course, yeah, you can say Super Bowl, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm like this. The way you play against everybody else should dictate how you play in the next game. Don't matter if it's Jackson State. It don't matter if it's Valdosta State. Don't matter if it's Northwestern State. Hey, Troy, come on up for a second, if you can. I can't say. I don't think it was going to be a blowout. I don't think it was going to be a blowout. I cannot say it was going to be a blowout. If Jacoby would have started last season, Jacoby would have started. It wasn't going to be no blowout. That game was going to be close. Look at how that game was played. You got to look at how that game was played. Even if Jacoby was started, that game was played close. Last night, the game was played close. I'm just saying, hope in one hand and goddamn it, be real with yourself in the other. In fact, I know Mr. Johnson Sr. is on right now. Well, I would say this: Grambling is it does have an issue. They have a little small issue. Of course, T-Set might be out for the rest of the season. Ashton Fry, they said he was carted off last week, and now you're on to your third QB, Darren's board. So they might have an issue. They might have a little small issue. If you really think about it, we got an issue too. We got Jacoby might be out. You got 4 games left. Jacoby might be out for an extended period of time, especially if it's a foot injury. Foot injuries are hard to. Foot injuries in football are hard to get over with. Yeah. News on T-Set. T-Set is, they said he's up, moving. But it just He's good. He should be good, but he's gonna be out for an extended period of time. He's on concussion protocol. Why didn't Coach put Lockhart in the game at first? Because Lockhart was QB3 and Stouffer was QB2. He's going by what he goes through when they practice. Coach say that he was QB2. He QB2. If he QB3, QB3. Next man up. You don't. I mean, just because, like I said, just because Lockhart had a good game against Tuskegee doesn't mean that he's automatically QB2. He said, TC always said, you earn it the way that you practice. And if you practice like dog shit, you ain't gonna dress out. He's not. I'm gonna tell you like this: Lockhart is not redshirting. Lockhart is a true freshman. He ain't redshirting. He is not redshirting. Because if you try to save him for a redshirt, he would not have played in the Tuskegee game. He's not trying to. That shit gone. That red shirt is gone, bro. It's gone. Come on, bro. Hey. I've already said this. Do not bash. We're not bashing nobody else. Lockhart and Stouffer are damn near the same type of player. Jared has some that Stouffer might not have. Stouffer has some that Jared might not have. So, but I'm not about to sit here and say, well, he's much better. He got 4 games. Okay, guess what? He ain't gonna have 4 games for the red shirt. If TC say he's going to be the starter, that red shirt is gone. That's 2 games. That red shirt is gone. And let's just say this: I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but if Jacobian's out for the rest of the season, it's only 4 games left. He played 2 games. He played 2 games. He played the FAMU game. He played the Valley game. That's it. He gone. That red shirt is out of there. That red shirt is out of there. Let's not talk about the red shirt shit. If Jacobian's out for the rest of the season, it's only 4 games left in the season. If the injury is as much serious as it is on his foot, if they say he has to have surgery, that's it. He's gone. So you have to put in the perspective, it's next man up. Excuse me, y'all. I mean, we'll be all right with Lockhart, but like I said, Lockhart is a true freshman, y'all. He's a true freshman. He is going. He has moxie and stuff like that, but going up against Grambling and Vegas, you had to calm him down. And then now, guess what? You're going to Tallahassee and to brag. and play against FAMU. Let's keep it a buck. You gotta calm them down. Like Parker could have played against that in that Tuskegee game also. You could have played Lockhart the first half, and Parker could have played the second half. That's an evaluation right there. But yeah. I don't get what Dave talking about. Talking about you fire your whole defense staff. You gave up 51 points. He was still getting beat to sleep. I'm talking about me. Anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you. If Jared's gonna be the number one player, you tailor the offense around him, in which you really don't have to do too much anyway, because the way the offense was tailored to Jacobian, it was more of, we handed the ball off anyway. We are a run first team. Jack State is a run first team. But again, the game of the week in the SWAC this weekend will be Alabama State versus Prairie View. Secondary game of the week for the SWAC will be Jackson State versus FAMU. Both are important to conference standings. Both are important to see who will host the SWAC championship game. Both are important to see who will actually even get to the SWAC championship game. Championship, a great team will look at this loss for 24 hours. 24 hours, get it out your system. After that, it's time to get back to work. But y'all know what it's time for me to do? It's time for me to say, Auf Wiedersehen. Toodaloo. Arrivederci. Au revoir. Time for me to get up out of here. Again, if you're a new listener, if you're a new watcher, and you're coming over here and checking out one of the best HBCU podcasts out there, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure that you like, comment, and share to the chat, to the platform. And also, if you're on Twitter, hit that follow button on Twitter, and then come hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to get everything HBCU Overdrive. Also, that would be another thing to talk about. But I'm gonna get ready to roll up off of here. But other than that, y'all be blessed, y'all be safe. Hug your loved ones or love your loved ones. Crash all your kids and beat them out the penitentiary. I'm your boy Doc Holiday. We are out of here. Be easy, baby. Peace.